Well, Coach Becky Burke gets a all-star recruiting class here in the top 20, ranked by ESPN. Hey everybody, it's Ben the Coin Geek. This video brought to you by Old Public Coin, talking some Arizona women's basketball. So this video is going to be about the incoming freshmen for this 2026 college season, and we actually have 6 freshmen coming in. We did not simply get a top 20 ranking from ESPN because of the quantity, because you can do that. You'll see some schools will have 1 or 2 highly ranked girls and then, nothing else. And you see someone with 6 girls coming in like us, and you'll think, oh, we've got a lot coming in. But it's a very guard heavy incoming class. Erin Finley, Jasleen Green, Michaela Presser-Palmer, Priyanka Panam, and Callie Hinder. By the way, that they don't have on here, we also got a commitment from European Polish player Karolina Ulan, and she is not included on that list. We'll run down this list a little bit for you and talk more about each of the players just a little bit and what this may or may not do for the program. As a reminder, the only returning players with experience are Molly Ladwig, who will be a sophomore, and Sugapong, who's going to be a senior. So Callie Hinder, our incoming freshman, she's considered a 3-star freshman. She came in the middle of the year last year in a gray shirt, which means she could practice with the team but not play with the team. She's a 6'6" center out of Chandler, from Australia originally, and 6A Arizona Defensive Player of the Year in 23 and 24. Number 2 overall player in the state of Arizona. Arizona, the high school state women's basketball, not known for making world beaters, so being number 2 overall in the state. We'll see how she performs and what it looks like after she's had a year with the program. I mean, she's had a chance to compete in practice against some tougher competition, some bigger bodies. Hopefully that's toughened her up already. All right, let's go to Erin Flynn was ranked number 53. This is ESPN's ranking, for what that's worth. What's good about this here, Rancho Cucamonga, you got a Cali girl who, I think generally speaking, it's easier when the kids play out west and they play for Arizona. I know that everyone's kind of like one and done right now, but I feel like there's a lot better chance of a kid playing and staying if they're from the western states versus the eastern states. It feels like if they are from the East Coast, or maybe even the upper Midwest, there's a chance they'll be like, well, no, the Midwest. If you're from the Midwest and you go back to the Midwest, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so but if you're from Carolina and you go back to Carolina, I totally get that. 5'10" freshman. So what's nice about this, 5'10", getting a little bit of height overall, and this is a nice chance for us to start to get some guards with a little bit more size to them. Of course, having a bunch of freshmen come in, they're still freshmen, right? So, all right, next up, Jasleen Green. Jasleen Green, number 60 by ESPN rankings, 26-4 record. She was named the Gatorade Player of the Year in Florida, and she's a McDonald's All-American nominee. Interesting to see here, we've got a 5'8" freshman from Ocala, Florida, and who's averaging, has a 2,000-point high school career, averaged 17.8 points over her career, averaged north of 24 points last year as a senior. Hopefully we'll see, one of the things you do want to see when you see the kids coming in out of high school, you want to see kids that are averaging well into the 20s. As they come into college, you'll see those numbers get sliced dramatically, but you want to be able to see them averaging a lot of points. As Coach Bonvicini reminded us, like, if they can't score in high school, they're not going to be able to score in college. So she always liked to see really high scoring kids. Number 65, another guard, Michaela Presser-Palmer. Here we go with someone with a little more height again, out of Pennsylvania, 5'11" guard, averaged 25 points per game in her high school career. That's a nice big fat number. Also, it's good to see kids that are just kind of winners. Actually, I think that 25 is her senior year. It doesn't say senior year here, but then it says 17.8 career. So you have another person who, another player here who's coming in with some size and hopefully a little athleticism. Some of the notes on Michaela Presser-Palmer is that she's more of a slasher, a little bit more athletic. And one of the things that is also very, very hard to get is athleticism. I mean, we've seen some kids with height that weren't necessarily athletic. We've seen kids that were athletic but weren't necessarily tall. One of the things that I'm hoping to get out of this recruiting class is someone who can obviously really just play ball, fits well into coach's system, has a high motor. That, like, to me, it's always about having a high motor. I like kids that are competitive. I have no doubt that that's what Becky Burke looks for also. If she's wired for one thing, it's competitiveness. So I'd imagine that she's keeping an eye out for all of those things. All right, Priyanka Ponam Pri is a 3-star guard. It's interesting, they list her as a guard here. Also listed as a guard. Let me see here. She's listed as a forward by the U of A. She's listed as a guard by ESPN. She's 6'2", from Pennington, New Jersey, out of the Blair Academy. 3-time Mid-Atlantic Prep League champion, named a 2026 McDonald's All-American nominee. 1,000-point career scorer in high school, 15 points per game as a junior. So we've got someone who's got a little bit more size coming in Pri. It's interesting to me because, there's the rankings, and those 3 guards were all ranked higher. And then you have Pri, who's a forward and not ranked as high. But I'm very excited to have her coming in because we can use some height. I mean, basically, with our returning players, 2 undersized guards, and then the rest of the freshmen listed here, guards at 5'8", 5'10", 5'11". So to have a 6'2" freshman, you got the 6'6" freshman and Kali Hinder coming in. It's going to be good to have that. When we'll talk in another video about some of the incoming transfers and what that might look like. But our last freshman is actually a transfer in, 6'1" freshman. They list her as a W, right? So if you're not used to seeing a W, none of us are, but W is a wing. I mean, traditionally, you just don't see them use the W very often anymore. You usually see either forward or guard. I actually like the wing position being used. That could have been used as a 3 or a 4 numerically if you're using numbers. I think of many former U of A men's basketball players that were slashers, that were taller, that played outside, inside, and upside down, apparently. So what's interesting, of course, here with Carolina Ulan is that she's, first of all, don't know if the pronunciation is correct here on the last name, or the first name for that matter, but this is not the hardest name on our roster. Wait till we get to the transfer video. Poland, lots of different awards with the international basketball. She is, I think, how would I put this? So incoming freshman at 21 years old. And this is kind of like the new model, trying to get players out of Europe that are willing to come over to the States. You saw this last year with the U of A men with Karchenkov, who came in. It's basically a contract player at this point. We're going to offer you some money to come play in the States and see if you can help us out with what we do. So 6'1" freshman, 21-year-old freshman with a lot of basketball experience. Now, how does it translate to playing at the collegiate level in the Big 12? We will see. Is there going to be any type of growing pains with moving from, Poland to Tucson, and, having Becky Burke as your head coach. I don't know, I always laugh at the old Simpsons. There's the old videos where you had the coach that coached gymnastics, and how terribly hard he was on the kids. So hopefully, if she's had a very hard upbringing, she'll have no problems fitting in here with a very, very demanding coach. So those are your 6 incoming freshmen. Center, Callie Hinder. Then we've got our forward, Pre, and we've got our wing, Carolina. And then we've got the guards, Jasleen Green, Michaela Palmer, Erin Finley. And overall, I think that it's a positive recruiting class, but it's like everything else in recruiting. It's all optimistic and built on potential, right? Potential. So I have no doubt that this coaching staff will get these kids playing together and playing hard. They did last year. And I think at a minimum, the height increase is going to help us out. I think that is something that having 5'10", 5'11" at wing instead of 5'5", 5'6", it makes a difference. So we will see. So let me know what you guys think about the incoming class. As always, like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Thanks.